I spit bars in a rave. Man, I go hard like Santan.
Good evening. Welcome to another Touchline Hotspur pod brought to you by the newly formed and newly branded New Spurs Order. Joined today by a lovely cast once again. First up, Goldberg, aka probably the hardest working man on football YouTube. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. My internet's a bit higgy. I'm good. Hopefully you lot can hear me. It's good to see y'all. It's good to talk football. Well, it's not good to talk about Spurs, but yeah.
No, it's not bad. We're still on a high-ish.
Yeah.
Booker T, how you feeling, man? All moved in?
Yeah, good man. Happy to be all settled now. Yeah, I'm good, bro. Can't complain. No complaints here, man.
And Scott Hall, you got any fruity or spicy intros for us today?
I'm still the bad guy. I don't believe Son is the most clinical in the Prem. Man can take that to the bank. You know what I mean? that's what Tom says. What smells like. V's for Vendetta, bro.
Yeah.
The only take I've got is obviously they just need to cancel international week, bro. It's just dry, bro. The teams are just dry to watch. So cancel international week, and Højbjerg's still outside the stadium, innit?
He's been on Højbjerg's neck all week.
I know. He's definitely right about one thing, though. That international break is dry. And he's been setting me up for some good segues recently, old Scott Hall, because Sai, Dave, and Yas did one of our Patreon pieces earlier. I believe it came out today, so on the day of recording, just for some extra content for you during this international break, just getting a bit deeper into Antonio Conte and what he can bring to Spurs. I see Sai, if you know him, wordsmith, Dave, our resident coach, and Yas, he's very, very, very into his Chelsea, formerly of Chelsea Hour, usually gets deep, pause. And it makes for a very interesting pod because apparently Yas is a bit of a hater towards Spurs as well. So
pause there, fucking hell.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching my words recently. I've been very suspect. But yeah, like mentioned earlier, Tobes, again, probably the hardest working man when it comes to football YouTube. You had a bit of a scouting mission recently, and obviously we've got the January window coming up, and a lot of these new players played in this derby. So what were your thoughts from the Milan derby?
Kessie definitely didn't have his best game. He looked a little bit sloppy in the ball, and then he gave away the penalty that led to Inter Milan's first goal. I felt Brozovic was as good as he always is. I rarely see Brozovic have like a poor game. He always gives a reliable performance. I don't know who else we've been linked with. Skriniar was solid. I think the only person in the back three who missed a beat was probably DeViants for the own goal, and even then, I don't even think he played badly. He just scored an own goal, but I think defensively, Inter looked good. I think AC also looked good as well. It was an open game of football, but I felt both defenses coped well with the threats that were coming in. Bastoni looked really, really good. I like that guy, man. Not only was he able to defend comfortably as well, but he was able to like offer himself as a threat going forward. So I think great game of football. I think mixed day for the players that have been linked to Spurs, but has it deterred my feeling on any of those players? Absolutely not.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. And Malakash just commented just down below. Me and Topstuff had an extensive dialogue about this. Brozovic over Kessie. Now, I'd like you to elaborate on this dialogue because I'm still under the impression Kessie is much better than Brozovic. But what are your thoughts on that little comment there?
It was also why I raised that point in the group because, well, first of all, I feel like because of like the amount of money that we spent on players recently, maybe that we're not really scrutinizing these players that we are interested in or that we're speculated to be buying. So I was looking at some of like his games, some of his numbers really in detail. And I was just like we discussed in the group, what really are the qualities that we're looking to improve on? Why are we looking to improve on those positions? And obviously midfield being one of the key areas. I feel like Kessie is a good player. I feel like what he offers is probably going to be a bit different to what Brozovic offers, but I feel like we would probably be getting maybe a more rounded player in Brozovic. One of the things I feel like Kessie does offer is decent ball carrying. He does take set pieces and penalties, and he does offer P&P, which I feel like we've been missing since we had a Wanyama Dembele pivot. But when I think about players that would suit Conte's style, or players who maybe even have already played under Conte, Brozovic would probably suit, I think, a bit better. I feel like he's maybe more rounded, and actually he's probably more defensive, which is kind of the profile of a player that we kind of need in a more pressing manner at this moment. I'm not saying that Kessie isn't good, and to be honest with you, there are lots of positive. I don't really see any real weaknesses with Kessie. He's free. The only money you'd be paying would be the wages, and you'd be able to get him in now. But the last thing that I just don't want us to do as a club is to jump in for him because he is available, and then maybe somewhere down the line be regretting that we made the decision at the expense of wages, at the expense of having another midfielder in the team. When, like Tobe said as well in our group chat, we have like 5 or 6 where at least 2 or 3 definitely need to be offloaded in the next 2 transfer windows,
Yeah, that's definitely true. And the most potent point of all there, the last one, obviously players needed to be offloaded. I couldn't agree with you more, especially on that. And obviously we had on the back of a game against Everton on the weekend, which ended 0-0. But yeah, I will come to you on this because your facial hair has just been addressed by Sai in the comments there as well. So I feel like you will have to comment on that as well. But first of all, like, what did you think of the lineup going into the Everton game, given that we played a game midweek? And I guess the initial thoughts on the first half.
To a degree, I wasn't actually surprised that he went with the same lineup. Funnily enough, normally I'd be like shock, horror, but I was like, wow. It's the Italian way to kind of have a set team. They're notorious for that kind of. They have their set 11, and then they start to build a team around the set 11 or the formation, should I say? And in that regards, that's what they did. So playing Davis at left centre back, I mean, is not going to give anybody confidence. To be honest, I don't think anybody in Davis' family has confidence within him, and we don't either. But the first half, it wasn't a great game, but the first half, there was a lot of elements in that game that surprised me. I haven't seen Spurs do in a very long while. There was no fear to play out from the back. None. I mean, I respect Conte for doing it, but how dare you? You put Dyer at centre back and you have the audacity to play out from the back. I said, wow, this guy has cojones. Pause. But yeah, playing out from the back was really surprising. It looked even more surprising because players made themselves available. I mean, not all of them were great on the ball, but they made themselves available. They seemed to not be afraid of receiving the ball, even if they weren't good at keeping possession. And they tried to advance us up the pitch, the right way, if you want to look at it like that. So for me, it was a breath of fresh air to see that. I I didn't think we were going to lose the game, honestly, which is more on the fact that Everton are just crap, as opposed to us being good on the day. But I also couldn't see where we were going to get a winner from, which is still a worry for us as a team. And because of all of this stress and nonsense that Spurs have done to me, I've taken off the beard. I've revealed a bit of skin of a 5 o'clock shadow. You guys are now in the true Scott Hall days of madness. Yeah, and the beard will not return until I see victories in a Spurs shirt. So right now, as Toby said, Goldberg to you guys. This is the V. It's for Vendetta days of Scott Hall. It's on. Yeah, a lot of men are going to be receiving crud. One of the men that is top of the list is Højbjerg. Yeah, because listen, it didn't matter. No. Don't hold take your hat away. Take your hat away. No, we're going to address this. I didn't want to go there, but I have to. Yeah, listen.
You definitely did want to go there, by the way.
He definitely. I want it known that when Meow says he didn't want to go there, he did because he was meditating.
Take away the smile from my face. I didn't want to go there. Yeah. No, hey, Tops, you hold it tight. You're back in London now. You're accessible. Yeah. So listen, no, Højbjerg needs to apologize to all of us. Some of the passing he was doing on set, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. We cannot move forward with a midfielder that cannot string passes together. So if we're looking at Kessie or we're looking at Brozovic, listen, big clubs make big moves. Get both of them. Kessie's going to be free anyway. So just pay his wages and pay for Brozovic. I know Brozovic is about 29. Right, bruv. Listen, experience is experience at this point because I'm hearing rumors that we're freaking going to be looking at Bale. Nah, I'm not bringing that guy back for another gym session. But
for goodness sake, man, what kind of rubbish is that, man?
6-month loan deal, boy.
I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't.
He's just come back from injury. You do
okay, but if Antonio Conte wants him for 6 months, what are we gonna say then?
We have to accept him. He's coming off the bench. I hope you do realize that he's not a starter.
But can I ask who is it that's going to oust him from this team? If we play 3-4-3, who on that right side do we have that's better than?
Well, we're not playing a 3-4-3. It's going to be a 3-5-2.
But he's played 3-4-3. He's played 3-4-3. This is what I'm saying. If it's a
flexible.
If it's a 2 up top, then I don't see the point in going for Gareth Bale.
No, it won't be a 2 up top. He'll play the free role. So the free role right now is basically where it's the one. So if you got 3-4-3 or 3-5-2,
but 3-4-1-2,
yeah, it's the one behind the 2 strikers. So I think for the last 2 games he's played Lo Celso. That's the one. Obviously, Lo Celso's not going to last. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, Endon Bale is probably going to be the guy that's going to play the one. Or if we do get Bale, it'll be Bale that's going to play the one. But Bale ain't starting. He's coming off the bench. The guy ain't got no legs.
Nah, bro. The thing is, legs hype. I'm just going to word to few at legs hype because Lucas Moura has got all the legs in the world and the guy is a brainless bonehead, bro. He just runs into traffic, runs into traffic.
Moura is there for moral support of the Brazilians.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he's started, bro, and he's starting. And he's been one of our better. It's a travesty that he's been one of our better players this season. Beat that. Lucas 1 goal, 1 league goal all season. Moura has been one of our better performing players in the league this season. Do you know how horrible that sounds?
Because he has heart. Yeah,
it looks horrible as well. By the way, it frustrates me so much.
He doesn't give heart, but he has
what
heart.
What I'm saying is, yeah, he can have all the heart in the world, but brother, we need G and A. We need G and A. Yeah. Fam, Top said it. Tops has been screaming this for the past 6-7 months. All we have in our team are a bunch of drip merchants and passion merchants. Fuck all the drip and passion. Give me G and A, bro. That's what I need.
We've got drip, fam. Hey, listen. Harry has never worn anything that made me thought, you know what, Harry? I need to buy that, bruv. Listen, there's no drip in this team, bro. We're dripless.
The only thing that I can think his mindset is looking at is like, I'm only going off what Conte has actually said. He said immediately off the back of the Everton game, we did lots of good things, but the one thing that we didn't do very well was that we were not clinical and we made lots of mistakes in the final third. We needed to basically take those chances and make them into goals. And the only thing that I can think that he's thinking is that if you have people, I know this is a funny topic because we discussed it this week, if you have people who are clinical in clinical opportunities, they are given the chance to have shots at goal or create goals, then they can be the difference, because clearly he can already tell that we are doing things that he's already asking of us, and we're getting into positions. Albeit we didn't have a shot on target, but we're getting into positions that maybe we weren't 2 or 3 weeks ago. So he's probably looking at it thinking, you know what, let's get someone in who is clinical, who is able to put some of these chances, be it half chances, 3/4 chances away. I still don't think the answer to that is Bale.
But you know,
Bale has to come.
Do we not already have the answer in our team though? Because Yao alluded to that Conte will probably go 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2, however you want to say it. Do we not already have the answer in our team already?
No, we don't, because we don't have a midfielder. We don't have a midfielder to play in that hole and score those goals and create.
Yeah, like as good as Ndombele is, he's not doing it.
I've got Tongi in mind.
Who is after Son?
Put Ndom there, but Ndom ain't gonna score the goals though.
What you say, Top?
No, but he can facilitate our 2 shooters to score goals. Obviously,
he could.
What are you saying, Tots?
Of all the attackers we have in our team, after Son, who has scored the most goals in our team this season?
Kane.
How many goals in the league?
Yeah, 1. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few on joint 1.
And we have a team with apparently countless attackers, countless wingers, countless creative players, but we're basically 11 games into the league, and only 1 player has more than 2 goals. We really need to be having players who are
these countless creative players?
No, he's saying that on paper, we have these forwards, these midfielders, and they're all dead.
Don't say them words. Hey, I told you, you're in London, you're accessible now. Don't say these words. Yeah.
But I'm stating facts though.
He is.
I know what Tobes is saying though. He's almost indirecting Lo Celso on this. Like on paper, he's supposed to be someone who can be creative, get GNA. But my God, like he's been a new level of poor this season. And this Everton cameo kind of summed up his last 12 to 18.
Run him out of the
Listen,
club,
if Lo Celso, listen, I'm gonna be nice and rude at the same time. If Lo Celso scored that goal, the one that hit the post, he was mad unlucky. Great shot, yeah. But if it'd gone in and we won that game, people would have been like, "Oh, well done. That's gonna give him confidence." I wouldn't have cared less, goal or not. Sack this youth, bruv. He hasn't got the minerals to be in that position. I understand the whole thought process of, if you get Bale, my whole thing is, even if you get Bale coming off the bench, that's a goal threat coming off the bench, because he will shoot from anywhere and he can literally beat any keeper. The problem I have is I don't want Bale because he's coming here to do gym, and I don't want man doing gym no more.
Yeah, no one really, like only maybe like a couple Spurs fans really wants Gareth Bale. No one really wants Gareth Bale, but it's more about
him in the stadium, so they want to see him.
It's
I
more
think
about
loads of Spurs fans want him back, to be fair.
Do they?
That's what I've seen on the timeline, because the source that actually reported Bale potentially coming back was El Chinguito, and they're just notoriously known for going, malo, tic tac, and then the fans got gassed off that.
But don't you think with Gareth Bale, it's not even like it's wants and needs. Like it's not like we're signing Bale on me personally, I would much rather a permanent option. But I'm trying to be realistic.
No.
Like, do we really think the club are going to sign a starting right winger in January? No. We already need a striker. We already need a midfielder. We already need a centre back. We need so many options. Yeah, like Gareth Bale. Yes, he scored against scrubs. Yes, he was piss poor for large parts of last year. But fundamentally, he's going to score goals if he gets the opportunity. That's my thing with Gareth Bale.
Want him.
Listen. I'm not begging for Gareth Bale to come to this club. If the club didn't go for him, I'm not going to lose sleep, because he's not even a player who I thought of. But the fact that the links have come out, if Antonio Conte wants Gareth Bale, I'll get on board with it, because in the end of the day, he's someone who can actually do something that some of our players can't do, which is score goals. What's the point in Lucas Moura beating 3 man and doing nothing?
You're jumping on board if he's coming off the bench, right? Because you're not having him as a starter.
Bruv, I don't care what he does. Just score. And the reason why I'm saying it's not about start, it's not about start. The reason why I'm saying like he will probably start is because it's not about what I want. The players that are starting for us are not good enough. They're not better than Gareth Bale. Lucas Moura is not a better player than Gareth Bale. He isn't. I don't care how many players he runs past. He's not a better player than Gareth Bale. He isn't. Lo Celso is not a better player than Gareth Bale. These man, they're going to play the same. They're going to play against the same piss poor teams that Bale bashed up, and they're not going to do half as good a job.
You know what's funny? One thing that can't happen is the Welsh Mafia can't reform. So if we're getting Bale, Ronan has to be sold.
Welsh Mafia.
Somebody has to go.
I mean, in the scheme of things, does Bale wouldn't even come back? I mean, what are we even saying here? Like,
he's about to be.
I don't even think
come back. Did you realize that?
I mean, why would he want to come back? I don't
think he's been injured. He's been injured for all season as well. Like,
Madrid ain't giving him a new contract. He's about to be out of contract in 6 months. Period. Yeah, they don't want him there. Carlo called him back, said, "Yeah, let me have a look at you, fam. You're doing gym. Kick out. You weren't involved, bro. If Carlo is dropping you after Zidane gave you the je ne sais quoi move, don't come near me. Yeah, after Zidane gave you all of that, and then Carlo's come over and dropped you, you know your time's done. The only other club in the world that's gonna go after this guy, as it stands, is Spurs and Daniel. I need my ex-backs Levy. That's the only reason.
To be fair though, the 3 games before he got injured, he played for Ancelotti. He played. He's only been fit for 3 games. That's my main. My main concern isn't even Bale using gym. My main concern is injury, bro. Like, why are we going? Why? If he's fit, I'm not gonna have an issue with this.
He ain't gonna be fit.
Injured. Why are we signing him? He's been out since September.
Wow.
He's been out since September.
Piss off. No, I don't want him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Why would
but given the Conte tax, if we hypothetically sold Lo Celso and sold Bergwijn in January, would you have, not necessarily want him, but would you have Bale in January on loan? Because I wouldn't necessarily want him, but in that scenario, if Conte wants him, I'll have him.
If Bale comes to the club,
if we sold those 2, I mean,
and got Bale,
drip merchant, that non-drip merchant, non-GA drip merchant, and that absolute farce of a footballer that's called Giovanni Lo Celso, of course I'm taking Bale. But that ain't gonna happen. We're not selling those 2.
Listen,
we're definitely not selling those.
If Bale comes back, yeah, Conte has to be sacked. Now, listen, we can't be going back. No.
Nah, kick him. I want y'all kick right now. Right now.
We need to move forward in life. You man are holding on to exes. This is mad bondage. Break the cycle, bro. Yeah,
I was just saying we should sell 2 of the bums who have been underperforming. I'm definitely letting go.
Here, you man are going to church and you're saying, God forgive me for my sins, and still sinning. Bro, come on, stop this nonsense, bro.
Do you know what? Yeah.
We're not going back there.
Who knows? And I love what Ash has said in this, because there's been another topic in our group chat. I feel like Ash is actually part of the podcast at this point, as part of the stream.
I saw Ash the other day at Conte's first game.
Oh right, yeah. Thursday. Yeah?
Okay. Shout out Ash, because he's brought this to our attention. We need to have a discussion about Son and these performances. He can't keep getting away with this. He needs to fix up. Me personally, I think he's got money in the bank and he'll hit the ground running once he properly adjusts to Conte's formation and system. But I mean, might as well continue the dialogue from the chat.
It is what it is with Son. It's purple Son. We know exactly what we're gonna get with this guy. I mean, personally, I feel that a lot of the times that he actually doesn't play well, he's playing in roles that he's not really comfortable with. He's not really a give and go guy. He's not really a player with his back to goal. He's someone who likes to be in behind, and he likes the ball to feet. And the way that he plays sometimes, the way that Tottenham have set up in a number of games this season has not allowed him to be able to flourish. Kane's barely getting on the ball. You're barely getting any balls over the top, and he's barely getting any ball to feet. So all these different things that are kind of playing into how he's playing at the moment. I mean, we know what Son is like. Whilst he is a very good finisher and puts away 90% of his chances, he does go through these patches, and it's like it's not unheard of from him. I feel like yes, the conversation should be had, but then we've put all our eggs in his basket. We've given him the contract. He is a starter for the club, and he's probably going to be longer. He's probably going to be there longer than Kane at this point. So at this point, I mean, we're just going to have to sit, shut up and just sit down and just take what we're getting from him, because this is literally what we know when we talk about Son.
Yeah, Tobes, I know you were strongly kind of in favour and almost defending Son to a point. It's worth noting he had quite a poor game against Everton.
Terrible.
But given that he's being played more centrally now, more as like a central forward under Conte, surely he's going to be a huge weapon for us going forward, especially under Conte. And I guess a question you could ask is, do you think he could reach new levels and be more consistent under Conte in this system?
Son is 29 years old now. We know what Son is. Tremendous player. Some say he's world class. Some say he's not world class. Listen, I totally get the argument for Son not being world class because he's streaky Joe. That's Son. But me personally, I'm not gonna say my opinion because I sit on the fence. I change like the weather. But Son is a player that when it's time for me to criticize him, and he goes on one of these Barons runs, fair enough. But for the most part, like we argued in all week about, the guy has stepped up countless times for Spurs, even when he's not at his best. Even when he's thinking like the joint, the guy has stepped up countless occasions for Spurs. How many wingers in the league guarantee double-double?
Mm-hmm.
Past 2-3 seasons, double-double.
Good point.
Yeah?
Agreed.
Well, fair enough. We asked, can you hit 20? I want you to hit 20 to get the world-class tag. But at the end of the day, when you look at our team, one of the lowest creators in the league, one of the lowest scorers in the league, yeah, and yet this guy's coming up with 20+ goals, double figures and assists. It's going to be very difficult for me to judge him with the same scrutiny as I'm judging other players, because he's simply doing more. Even in this barren state where he was shit against West Ham, shit against Man United, shit against Everton, he's still our top scorer this season. He's still our top scorer this season with 4 goals.
Clear as well. Clear of everyone else.
Like,
yeah.
honestly, Yao's jumping at the bit, and fair enough. He'll give his take, because I think what Yao's about to say on Son is, the majority of it is fair. It's justified. Like, Son, a player of his quality, you can't be dropping the level of performances that he drops from time to time for Spurs. But in the end of the day, more often than not, this guy is putting Spurs on his back. But that's me. Go on, Yao.
So last season we called him what? Purple Patch. Which is, he hasn't shaked it. And I said it in the preseason. I said, look, this guy needs to stop scoring in preseason because he's running out of his purple patch tax. And yeah, granted, he scored 4 goals this season so far. What, in the league? 4 in the league. That doesn't do it for me. It never has. I know a lot of people are going to be like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you need goals and all that kind of stuff. Performance, 9 times out of 10, will get you over the hill. 9 times out of 10, just get you over the hill. It doesn't even matter if you don't score as the striker or winger in this position. Performance will just get you over the hill. Yeah. And he has stunk. He has stunk up the joint. Yeah. Now, granted, in the last, maybe take away last season.
Can you answer that question when you're done as well, by the way?
I will. I will. Granted, last season you can't take away what Kane did. As much as he had bare games where he was stinking, stats-wise, you can't take away what he did. And I don't even think Son was that bad for the season in terms of his performance. But my biggest problem is we don't know, as it currently stands, as a team, to get the best out of Son. Like, you've seen him in so many positions where it's like, oh man, yeah, we're going up against this team. Son's gonna run right, and he just has a stinker. Like, there's no way, man for man, he should have been dealt with or out of the game so much against Everton. He was largely useless, and it doesn't help that Kane weren't any better, but he was really poor. Like, he couldn't get into the game, and we're talking about Everton, who've been struggling all season, and that's worrying. That's very worrying, because these are the kind of games where, all right, granted, we haven't had a great season, yeah, but you should have some sort of performance in this kind of game. You shouldn't be missing in this kind of game, and it's long, yeah. So for me, Son needs to step up. It's just that simple. Step up. We don't even have options to take him off the pitch and put him onto the bench. We don't even have options like that. Like, so, and the same goes for Kane. Like, I'm sorry, but because we don't have options, these players just have to step up. Either you do that or you don't. And I know people are going to be like, we need to play to their strengths. Well, good luck with that, because I couldn't tell you the answer to that.
Well, was there any Spurs players you rated, by the way?
What, in our current squad?
Or yeah, actually, yeah. I said rated by accident. Is there any Spurs players in this current squad that you rate?
Name names, brother. Name names.
I think an obvious one might be Romero, but that might be where it stops.
It's early, isn't it? I think he's the best defender we got, which is shocking, because that means the rest of our defenders are that crap. So it's really harsh. You know, honestly, outside of me calling him like waved, I rate Hugo. I do, because he's been consistent. That's a good shout. He's been consistent, regardless of whatever you want to say about him. He has actually been a consistent performer for us. No, I don't rate Kane like everybody else rates Kane. I think Kane is an incredible striker of the ball, left foot, right foot. But I just hate the fact that in the moments when you just need him to step up, he wants to look like his brother instead of look like himself, which is embarrassing. Emerson, listen, I said it in the group. Nah, stop laughing. I said it in the group, yeah. Emerson, he needs time, so I can't really say too much. Yeah, his first game, he got sent to South London by freaking Zaha with his freaking fake dreads, so he messed him up. But he's growing, he's got confidence. So I rate the little Gil kid, but I don't think Spurs is the right club for him. Honestly, I've said it.
Emerson is Mediana, man, right now.
Yeah, he's not looking too good. Everybody else, like who I have not mentioned, is on the chopping block. The only person who I'll mention who's not really on the chopping block, because he's saucy with it. But we're not that kind of team. It's Ndombele, and he doesn't even want to be here.
He's not reliable, bro. He ain't reliable.
You can't trust that brother, man.
Exactly. So you can't trust, man. Yeah, but we know what his ability is about. Son is Son, innit? He's not my son, but he's somebody's son. So that's nice, innit? So that works. And Kane's a muck. So how am I supposed to rate a muck? What do you want me to do? Rate a muck? I'm not going to rate a muck. Sorry. I'm not going to do it. Lo Celso's not a real player. He doesn't exist. Ali's a fake dread. The Jamaicans should be beating him up. That's a disgusting attitude by him, bro. Going out there with blonde dreads. What kind of... You're not a dread, man. You don't deserve none of this, bro. What kind of nonsense is it? And we got Diabolical at the back. Fam, why do you want me to rate these players? You know what my rating is. Everybody knows what my rating is. Look, you got Maguire, you got Winks, then you got decent. And that's what half the squad is. Just decent. Yes.
So disrespectful.
Bro, enough. What do you want me to do, bro?
Owen is fuming.
I'm
the objective host, so I'm not gonna climb in too tough.
Until somebody can tell me otherwise, yeah. Listen, we need to address that in football. Like the whole pricing of players has gone out, especially with English players. It's gone absolutely AWOL. It's gone mad, yeah. But there's no given way in life that anybody of Maguire's ability should be over 15 million pounds sterling. No, fam, he's not good. Yeah, and I know people will be like, "Rah, nah, if he came to Spurs, Spurs would be slightly big man." Stop that. Stop it right now. Yeah, he's not good on the floor. If the ball is in the air, of course he's gonna win it. Man's head is bigger than all four of us combined. So of course he's gonna win headers, bro. He's got a wham head. That's why he freaking got convicted in Greece, yeah, for headbutting the freaking waitress that was talking to his sister. Obviously, he didn't get convicted because he's got a few lawyers that can sort him out. But that guy should be heading balls. Maguire is absolutely trash. And moving on from Maguire, Dyer's no better. And this is what we got in our squad. Let's be honest. Back in the day, what, 4 or 5 seasons ago, you had Bale. Quality midfielder. Wanyama, before he got injured, quality midfielder. These man you could rely upon week in, week out if they started. Jan Vertonghen, easily one of our best centre-backs the last decade. Easily. Toby, before he became old man Toby. Quality. Carl Walker, all right, yeah, quality. Danny Rose, before the injury against freaking Sunderland, put in a good shift. This was a decent to good enough team that should be challenging. We've gone from that to regular Don. That's man call him in the group. Man call him regular Don, bruv. Yeah, we've got regular Don as our left back. His understudy is freaking suspect. Yeah, Ryan Suspect himself.
Ryan Sus.
And then you got freaking Emerson, who we don't even know too much about at right back, and his understudy is a variant. He's not even a real person. He doesn't exist in this universe. He came from the multiverse, bruv. Yeah, and he just landed here. Yeah, so this is what we're dealing with. You got Romero, who's probably our best easily. I'm not even going to say probably easily. Center back.
Yeah,
and you've got diabolical, freaking, what's his name? What's that? Sanchez, who's not even Colombian. Jesus, the guy's got. He's got no. He's not even Colombian. I don't know where this guy's from, but he's not Colombian. And then you got. I'm gonna get onto him. I didn't want to because he's a local lad, isn't it? But I'm here in it. You man made it happen. Tanganga. Hey, sort it out, bruv. Sort it out, kid. Yeah, like you're easily one more game from reaching the top of the stairs, and I'm gonna kick you off because I can't deal with this no more. I cannot. We need to progress as a freaking club, not just in terms of hiring a manager, not just in terms of like the players we buy. We actually need to progress as a club. We cannot keep harboring these needy average man and hoping, praying that they work in a system. It can't work.
Okay, fair.
I hear it. I think the summary for that is our squad is essentially just made up of deviants and no Eternals. That's fair. I mostly agree with that, to be fair. That summarizes that. And just to close out the Everton game as well, like, I think a lot of people argue we were the better team, even though we didn't have another shot on target. And I think that's about 4 hours. And now we haven't had a shot on target. Yeah, crazy. But was there anything encouraging in the second half from Conte's team, which you saw, which we can essentially use as another performance or something to build on going into the Leeds game in a few weeks' time?
Again, it's very hard to mention these as positives because one, we were playing up against the Everton side without their best midfielder this season, without their top goal scorer this season. Richarlison just come back from injury. Yerry Mina out as well. So it wasn't even like a fully strength Everton side. They were playing fucking Fabian Delph and Alan, and then Tom Davies to come on, who crikey, a championship centre mid to come on and save them in the second half. Andros Townsend having to roll back the years. And Damari Gray doing his absolute best to try and get them something. But I will say this, they defended better. And what I mean by that is blocks, yeah, not letting Everton create high quality chances. Not that they had the players on the pitch to create them anyway, but I have to give credit where it's due, if you can even call it credit. Defensively, I think we were better. I saw Skip making some crucial blocks. I saw Romero making some crucial blocks. I felt a defensive performance. It wasn't the worst, but again, it wasn't against the best opposition. So if there's something I'm looking into going into the Leeds game, Leeds who like to have a lot of the ball, who like to pop off shots, who like to commit bodies forward, I think this defense, hopefully, touch wood, should be able to withstand some element of pressure. Yeah. So that's what I saw. I'm not reaching and saying no, Spurs are good defensively. Now, all I'm saying is against Everton, defensively, they weren't bad. Offensively, they were shocking.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's fair
Yeah.
to say.
I agree.
Booker T, were you about to chime in there? So I thought
yeah,
Thompson
no,
was-
I agree with what he said as well. I felt like, our two best opportunities in the game were by Reguilon and Emerson, which were moments where we had interplay, which resulted in one of our forwards crossing to the back post for our fullbacks. Albeit they didn't take those chances, but at least these are two players who are getting in these opportunities. Maybe with a bit of better concentration, maybe body positioning in those final moments to get those sort of chances into goals would probably be important moving forward. But I mean, there's no benefits in a game where you don't take any shots on target. You can't really take much. But I think for me as well, going back to what Tobe said, I think if you look like a better defensive structure, that gives you the foundation to be able to play, knowing that every time you go back, you're not looking to make a mistake, you're not looking to do anything silly. And one thing I did actually like was the ability to play from the back. I mean, everyone knows about Conte's automation, getting these defenders doing set movements, set techniques, set patterns in order to play themselves out of the back. And to be honest with you, with the players who I don't think are actually very good technically at the moment, to kind of see that, even after like a week of training, is a positive. And it's probably going to get even better with time and also with better players as well. So.
Yeah, I like what you said about the patterns as well, because a lot of people picked up on that. Stephen Warnock did a good piece on Sky Sports about our wing backs, especially, and I saw a lot of what looks like to be the building blocks of a process of automation. Like we looked like we wanted to hit the wing backs early from deep positions. It didn't come off a huge amount of times, of course. Like when we had the ball deep, the switch was on, but I felt like the wing backs didn't really attack the space quick enough. I put that down to, I guess, getting used to the system and having played in midweek. Like I think both wing backs played 90 minutes. So yeah, they do the most running in the team. And, they may have been a bit tired from that. I'm not too sure. The quality of the ball was a bit off as well, especially from Højbjerg. But again, like I think both Højbjerg and Skip started iffy, especially Højbjerg, to be fair, and they grew into the game. But I did like, obviously, once whenever we had a wing back actually attacking space or had the ball on one side, we actually had the opposite wing back looking to attack space in the box and be a threat. And that's essentially where our best chance came. Unfortunately, Reguilon missed it, and it was a poor miss. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that, obviously, going into a few more games. And it was good. It was a good game for Emerson, I thought, as well. I've seen a lot more, a bit more, I should say, of him actually expressing himself. Like you're seeing him actually take on a few players and get into good positions and looking like he wants to take people on. Like I've been saying that I would have loved to have seen Aurier in this system, but A few of the guys in the chat were saying, okay, yeah, we need to give Emerson time. Like, of course, he's in a new country, new league, new language. But yeah, it's a shame that our rotation options, Matt Doherty and not Sergio Aurier. Because, yeah, I really think Sergio Aurier would have been great under Conte in the system. But yeah, onwards and upwards.
I also did think as well that, like, well, it's a positive and a negative in the sense that I feel like at the moment, the way he's playing the double pivot of Skip and Højbjerg, in many ways, it's not like, you know, we're not scaring teams with our ability to play them off the park. But I feel like having those two in there and getting them to do specific things in that pivot does make us a bit more stable in the middle. I feel like we're not in positions where we're open, players are being run past at will. But I do also feel because you have these kind of players who are quite, what we would say, conservative, you find them taking lots of more extra touches and passes that they probably, or if you had maybe an Ndombele or someone who had a bit more creativity or a bit more like impetus in the final third, these like passes before the assists could actually lead to something. And I felt that there were lots of times where it got to like Højbjerg, it got to like Lo Celso, and you need those passes to maybe beat someone to open up a channel or beat someone to beat an offside line, and the players that were on the ball weren't doing that. So I suppose these things are kind of good to see for now, but obviously we need to see better players do these things. Yeah. One thing as well that I also put into the group, and I just think it's a big thing because I feel like as a club, I feel like we've neglected it since Pochettino days, but our ability to be intense on the pitch. I've said this, that ever since we let Pochettino go, the fitness of the club, the fitness of the players just looked ghastly. And to be honest with you, that stat that we put into the group, it just showed you that these players are not maintaining any decent level of intensity. You know, when you saw those stats of less than 90 kilometers throughout the team run, 9 kilometers throughout the team run against Crystal Palace, it's just shocking. And clearly, all the different things that were now coming out of the club, about the club having a different nutritionist, about the club working on conditioning, and us now being more intense, better counter pressers, all these things are going to kind of work to our advantage, because I feel like that's a big part of our game, where we used to be one of the teams that used to finish games strongly. Now we're going into games, and 60, 70 minutes of the games, we're looking gassed with rubbish options to come off the bench.
I think with us as well, yeah. One thing you mentioned was the midfield. I think the midfield is very problematic. And I'm using Sunday's game as an example because we can pick out games against Palace, Man United, West Ham, etc., where the passing has just been poor. And it's not to say that these guys can't pass the ball. Like, I know people will disagree, but Højbjerg isn't a bad passer of the ball. He isn't. Oliver Skip isn't a horrible passer of the ball, but Oliver Skip is far too pedestrian, and Højbjerg is far too erratic. Like, he's not playing well at the moment, and when this guy isn't playing well, he fucking stinks. He's erratic in his movement off the ball, and on the ball, he's making terrible sloppy ass passes. Our midfield, the midfield two we have right now, they may put in a shift off the ball, but on the ball, they're not giving us what we need in terms of that penetration. When you look at Conte's teams of the past, they normally can offer, the two in the midfield can offer something in possession. I believe our players can offer something in possession, but I don't believe it's currently enough. It isn't enough. We need more. We need more. You see that Antonio Conte is linked with a player like Barella. Barella is way more incisive than our midfielders. And I don't just mean, range of passing. I mean, he's quick in his decisions. If he wants to beat a man, he'll beat a man because he can. If he wants to pass the ball, he'll pass the ball quick. He'll go for a give and go. We don't have anyone in that. When we play Skip and Højbjerg, we simply don't have enough panache. And you need panache to break some teams down. When you're playing a 3-4-3, you can't have two midfielders who are going to either keep the game ticking or break up play. Someone has to be the probing player in possession. And we don't have that. We don't have that. So again, I'll go back to the start. Skip looks tidy-ish in possession, and he looks fairly reliable off the ball. Højbjerg, when he's playing well, don't shoot me, when he's playing well, can actually pass the ball well, because we've seen him do it countless times for Spurs. It is not working. Neither of those midfielders, it's not their natural game to pull strings. It isn't. And we need someone who's capable of pulling strings in that position of the pitch. 100%. And I know I just said 100% to myself, but it's the truth. It's facts. We need someone.
Massively agree. And even as well, not to go on, but even as well, like having different types of profile of players makes a difference. Having a player who's a ball winner, having a player that's creative, having a player that has the ability to carry the ball. All these different things kind of make or break how a midfield works. And I feel like, rightly so, we're just too pedestrian in a lot of what we do. Whilst they do some of these simple things well, the things that make us a better team, the things that make us create chances or create goals is what we're missing at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fair. So we mostly agree with what you were saying as well. Like, yeah, well, I think that Skip and Ndombele can play that kind of role at times. It's not been shown to be reliable at this point either. Obviously, Skip done it at championship level for Norwich. We've seen Ndombele do it in spells, but obviously not consistently.
Yeah.
So yeah, really and truly, like if we were to add to our midfield in the January transfer market, whoever Conte decides to bring in, I'll back it because we desperately need bodies in there. But yeah, that sums up just the Everton game. Obviously, you can catch more of that, more of kind of Conte's system and essentially the game on the Patreon piece that Sai, Dave, and Yas did. Just going into the international break now, unfortunately, you had Harry Kane. I'm not sure what question was actually asked to him, but he made a comment about his turbulent summer. And yeah, Tobes, I know you're off. Thank you for joining us.
No problem, lads. Peace out.
Peace out, Goldberg. He essentially said he thought he handled the summer speculation well. Yeah, your initial thoughts on that?
I don't like lies. I just don't like lies. We all lie, yeah, but it's the level of the lie and the impact of the lie. This is an out and out lie. This is disgusting. Because if he handled it well, he would have never got booed. It's just facts. You know, man said I handled it well. Honestly, like Kane is deluded. Yeah, I know nobody wants to admit, but the guy is mad. Yeah, listen to what I'm saying. He done big man interview with Gary Neville. Sat there and said, yeah, you know, obviously I want to go win things. You know, I've been in the finals. Unfortunately, the club ain't got it done. And, you know, like, I'm sure that, you know, if a club comes in with like 100 million, I'm sure that maybe Daniel Levy will probably like say yes. Whoa, big man. What are you doing? He done this on a Sky interview. Yeah. Sky then ran with this for the whole of the Euros. Kane's looking to leave from Spurs. Kane needs to bounce. And he never once came out and said, I didn't say that. Well, I don't want to leave Spurs. If the club don't want to get rid of me, I'm happy to play. He never once said this throughout all the speculation. And then when it finally hit him, that raw, I'm going nowhere. He comes out with this statement saying, yeah, look, I know everything that's out there that's been said, boom, boom, boom. But at the end of the transfer window, I'm a Spurs player and I'm going to give everything I can for the club. And since then, he's given us nothing but stinking performances.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned.
Do you know what I think he should have done? No, I didn't mean to cut you out, but he done something in the summer which I never thought would happen ever. You got a star player come through the academy, and yeah, he's got a big team interested in him, and he let Daniel Levy, of all people, control the narrative and get all the fans on side with him over Harry Kane. And what I think Harry should have done is gone to Daniel Levy and been like, look, like gone in with maybe Conte-esque demands, like, look, if you're not showing ambition and looking to do this, this, and this, then I'm going to hand in a transfer request. He didn't do either of those, so he just weakened his position as like the days went on in that summer transfer window. And like, when they come to actual deadline day and he came up with that statement, a lot of fans had turned their back on him at that point. So yeah, I think he should have just, as I say, gone in with those requests and demands. Obviously, he wants the team to be ambitious. I respect that. But if you're not seeing those demands met or don't think the club are being ambitious, hand in the transfer request, bro. There's no point half-arsing it because you've got Daniel Levy running rings around you and your brother. And yeah,
honestly, Kane couldn't hand in a transfer request on the sole basis of, listen, the reason why Kane wanted to go to City is why a lot of players in his position will want to go to City. City wins trophies. Yeah. But ultimately, Kane's probably realized, if he hasn't, I'll say it out loud. He's probably realized that when push comes to shove on the days to lift up your armpits and lift silverware, yeah, he's unreliable. He's not the guy you can put your basket of eggs in. You just can't. He's not reliable. If you give this guy an egg at the beginning of the race, it's going to be on the floor by the 10-meter mark. He cannot take you over the line with the egg intact. He's not that guy. He just isn't. That's fine. That doesn't mean he's a crap player. Some players do need to be carried over the line. That is fine, because finals are more than just ability. Sometimes you need the mental capacity to take you over the line. Sometimes you need that dog in you, as some people would say. Pause. Yeah? Drogba had it. Drogba could go missing the whole season. Put Drogba in a final. You know what was going to happen. It's inevitable. Kane is not inevitable. Well, he is in a sense, because he can go missing in a final, and that's inevitable in its own right. So he needs the right players around him to essentially take up for what he's not going to be capable of doing in those latter rounds. That's fine. That's cool. My biggest problem is, just like you said, if you want out, then really want out. Don't come with this whole, I'm going to do interview and see if this club's going to come in and pay X amount for me. Nah. Force your hand and really want out. Because big man, like I told all you man in the group, and I've told all these fans, I don't rate him no more. There's nothing this guy can do to get me to celebrate him in a Spurs shirt. Unless, and this is the big unless, we get to a final and he scores a freaking hat-trick. That's my demands. You want to win me back? Yeah? That's my demands, that you turn up and do the right thing.
I'm like, with this, I don't know, man. Like, when I think about it, like, just general human nature, all right? People, whether they tell you otherwise, they want to be liked. They want people to view them as a certain way. They want people to see them in as positive light as possible. Kane did not move honourably this summer. And whether he likes to believe it or not, whether his brother or his representation like to make him believe, he did not move honourably this summer. Simple facts. His reputation as a result took a knock. And it almost seems as if he is starting to move deluded in the fact that people know what you were trying to do. People could see what you were trying to do. So when you're now being interviewed after the matter, you're now saying, you know, I was committed, it didn't work out for me. It's almost as if you're now starting to believe your own lie. But it's very difficult for us to take that. It's very difficult for us to take that as fact, because everything that you've done up to this point, fine, you've scored all these goals. But for us as Tottenham fans, being who we are, we needed you to turn up at certain points, and you haven't. And just because you failed in your ability to help us doesn't mean that you can suddenly just jump ship, break contract, treat us with disdain. I said this at the beginning of the season. Kane can have a wonderful year this year. He can score many goals. He can do anything for England. But I promise, the feeling that us proper Spurs fans, when I say proper Spurs fans, I mean fans who watch the game and believe in the team, believe what the team represents, they will see that his reputation, our feeling towards Kane, it just won't be the same. It won't be the same. And when I look at him now, I just feel like he's a man who is trying to make himself believe like it didn't work out for all the right reasons, when actually you could have done everything in your power to make it happen, and you didn't. You could have got all your representation to help you get what you wanted. You didn't. You could have gone to Levy and said you wanted to do X, Y, Z. You didn't. So now you're coming out and saying all this stuff about it didn't work out. I feel like it was an unfortunate situation, but now, you know, this is where we're at, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know all this stuff. I'm sorry, Kane. I'm not hearing it, brother. I'm not. I'm not.
Don't
like,
be sorry. Don't be sorry.
Like my feeling on him, you know, I see him as honestly, truly one of the world-class centre forwards in world football. World class. But honestly, at this point in my time, like, I wouldn't mind if he went. I mean, I wouldn't mind.
Listen,
the current level he's performing at, the goals that he's not scoring, the games that he's playing in and not really giving it, like, I think.
Listen,
you know,
I'm with you,
people
bro.
forget as well. Coutinho got sold, Suarez got sold, Ronaldo got sold. It's okay to sell your best player. You don't have to sit and dwell with these guys who don't want to be here. It's okay. The club will move on. We're not going to suddenly just dissipate when he goes. No, we'll be fine. We'll use the money. We've got a world-class manager now. We've got a decent sort of standing in terms of our development with the club, the trajectory in which we're moving on. It's okay. But don't like treat us like we're idiots. Like we don't know what's going on. Like we don't see how you've made us feel. Like, I mean, it's just, to me, it further pushes down this fucking idea of him being a model pro. Just I mean, like even in this comment, it's true. There's been games I've watched in the 11 Premier League games this season where I promise you, Kane has down tools. He looks like he doesn't want to be there. Like, how does he want us to believe anything he has to say when we are literally in front of our eyes seeing what we are watching? I mean,
listen, straight up, yeah. I don't even want you to kill yourself, bro. Yeah, because it's hurting my heart. We don't need Booker T to be suffering like this. Just move back to the end. Yeah, we need him to be happy. But this is what I'm talking about. Kane, listen, I've called him muck, and it's true. He is a muck. Yeah, that's never changing. We can win trophies with him. Again, that's still never changing. My punishment for Kane would be we go out into the market, buy a striker or two, and bench this youth and make him a squad player. Listen, I don't hear all this chat about he's world class and he's one of the best strikers. I don't hear none of that chat. I'm not interested in it because my thing is the stats alone don't carry you over to that golden place. It doesn't. It just doesn't for me. Yeah. Now people will be like, "No, you're being harsh." Yeah, I couldn't care less, bro. Go eat your mom's jello fries. I don't care. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, there's more to the game than just stats. You just have to turn up in certain games. Hell, if Kane went silent for an entire season, scored only 5 goals, but the 5 goals meant that we won a semi-final and a final, bruv, I'd be like, wow, you were crap. But when we needed you, you turned up. Yeah? But we ain't even got that from him. What we've got is, the ball definitely touched my shoulder. These times it was Eriksen's free kick that went directly in. But you're claiming it because you want the golden boot. That's all. You only care about your bloody accolades. Yeah? It's fine. It's fine. In basketball, yeah, it's true. I probably am an elite harsh baller. Yeah? But it's life, bro. In basketball, we call that stat padding. Yeah? Them stat padding, man. They go to teams like the Charlotte Hornets, knock up like 30 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. Man, are like, yeah, 6. Then they go to freaking the Lakers, and those 30 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists drop down to like 12 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and 15 turnovers. My whole thing with Kane is, I don't even think Kane's a stat padder. But what I will say is this guy does not have the mental freaking fortitude to turn up when his team or nation needs him to turn up. In the games in which the opponents are 9 times out of 10 lesser of an ability than he is, he turns up. He does what he needs to do. Yeah, he does.
It's hilarious. Like, I mean, I hate to keep going at this guy, but I read an England interview. He said today yesterday something like, "Oh, the Italy game will sit with me for the rest of my life." I was thinking to myself, "What are you talking about? You're a perennial loser. Like, you only know how to lose. Like, I mean, all of a sudden, how are you suddenly going to be like, well, this isn't any worse than the Champions League final that you didn't turn up in, or the Carling Cup finals that you didn't turn up?" I mean, I'm not hearing it, man. I don't know. I'm just not hearing it.
He said that the Italian, because I saw part of the quote. So he said the Italian final will sit with him. Bruv, he only turned up for 25 minutes of that final. We discussed this on the pod. Once Italy found out what he was doing and they shut up shop, he didn't have a plan B, no plan C. He had nothing.
Boy. Listen, well, he does seem to be a lot happier to do these interviews since Conte's been in charge. So
I couldn't give a flying crap if he's happy to do these interviews. Yeah. He should be sent. Look, I'm pretty sure the way Conte is as a manager, if he had options, he'd punish Kane. He'd easily do it. You can go check his history. It's not the first time he's ever like sat his star player, which quote unquote star player, on the bench. There was even an article today saying that he was offered a potential of getting Hazard on loan, because you know Hazard's having an absolute stinker in Madrid, and he said, "No, I don't." Apparently, he said, "No, I don't want that guy. He doesn't train hard." So that already lets me know that if this guy had options, because we don't have options, Kane will be riding the bench, or at least suffering. But we don't have options. I'm hearing we're linked to Vlahovic and and all that kind of stuff. Go get these, man. Please. Just go get these options. I don't understand how Spurs went from Berbatov, Keane, Defoe, Crouch, Pavlyuchenko to just Kane. We even had like we've gone from all these men. At one point we had 4 strikers, 3 strikers, 2 strikers. We went from at least options to just one man. And Janssen. Oh my God, we had Janssen. Jesus Christ.
That was the pain in the voice Janssen. For me.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. What have we done? What have we bloody done? And we've let Kane get to a point where in his head he thinks without him, we're nothing. In fact, the world actually thinks this. Without Kane, we're nothing. However, this is where I will back up Son. For all the times that we haven't had Kane and we've needed the team or Son to step up, they have. I mean, just go. You can actually go check the stats. We have got to the Champions League final without him. Somehow, some way. It didn't look pretty, but we got there. We've won crucial Premier League games without him. It's just facts. You can go check it. So it doesn't mean that we're discrediting what he does as a player. What we're discrediting is the mentality. The man's mad. He's come up with this interview and said, "Bro, I didn't feel like I'd done anything wrong. I didn't notice anything." Bruv, your wife needs to pull you aside and tell you whatever jollof rice you had, it weren't the correct one. It must have been tainted with some amala or something, bruv, because it wasn't correct, bruv. It wasn't right.
No, that's fair. It's fair. It's hopefully now Conte can actually drag him to perform actually well in Premier League games, let alone perform well in potential bigger semi-finals, potential finals. But who knows what the season holds? Obviously, we're now going into the international break where Conte is going to have more time with certain players. I've got high hopes for a certain player, especially with Oliver Skipp being suspended for the Leeds game. And I think it'll be very fruitful. Answer that, while he's still at the club, can't really let it go, can I? I wouldn't really expect myself to. But, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think it would be a good game for anyone to come in. Like not even just a certain player who I happen to or may not be on about. I think it's a good team for any player to come in and play. Like Leeds will come on to us and probably allow us to play a lot more than Everton did, to be fair. So who knows? We'll preview that game next week, as we've got a couple of weeks or about 2 weeks, 10 days, whatever it is, until we actually play that game. And yeah, it could be very interesting. But as for now, guys, that wraps up tonight's pod. It's been a fiery one. Shout out to everyone in the comments and the chat as well. It's flowed brilliantly and it's been active. So shout out to you lot, especially a couple of new fans. We have Miles in there, Ash, Gogeta, regular, Wesley, yeah, everyone. Shout outs to you. Again, just a slight plug on a Patreon piece which we've brought out on Conte and what he can bring to the team with Sai, Dave, and Yas. Log into that, and again, keep an eye out for our streams on Thursday evenings and the audio pod being released on Saturday mornings. As for this evening, that's the newly rebranded New Spurs order out. Finished on a lovely Kane tangent, so yeah, perfectly on brand, and we'll be aiming to bring more of that content every single week for you guys. That's for now. Bless. Thank you, Scott Hall. Thank you, Booker T, for joining me, and we'll see you again soon.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.